It was October 31st, the kind of night that makes small towns feel alive. Every porch was glowing orange, fake cobwebs hung from mailboxes, and the air smelled like wet leaves and pumpkin spice. My friend group had been planning for weeks to go to a Halloween party just outside of town, the kind people talk about all year. The host was a guy named Derek Moore, an old friend from high school who'd just moved back after inheriting his grandparents' farmhouse. He'd posted pictures on Instagram earlier that day. Long tables of drinks, string lights draped over the trees, even a fog machine near the barn. It looked incredible. I hadn't been to a good Halloween party since college, and honestly, I needed one. Work had been draining, and my girlfriend and I had just broken up 2 months ago. I figured a night surrounded by people, music, and cheap beer might help me forget about everything for a while. I dressed up as a vampire. Cliché, I know. Black coat, fake fangs, and contacts that made my eyes look blood red. When I pulled up around 9, cars lined both sides of the gravel road. The house stood at the top of a hill, half lit by orange spotlights in the moon. There were Jacobin lanterns everywhere, more than I could count, each carved differently, but all with the same eerie grin. I remember thinking Derek must have spent days on them. Inside, the house was packed. Bodies moving to bass-heavy music, people laughing in masks, the smell of alcohol and perfume thick in the air. Derek spotted me and came over, dressed as a priest. He looked different, thinner, pale. His smile seemed forced, but I figured he was just tired from hosting. We caught up for a few minutes, then he was pulled away by someone else. The night went on as expected, dancing, drinking, and the occasional creepy decoration making people jump. Around midnight, the power flickered. Music cut off, lights dimmed, and people groaned thinking it was part of the show. Then the fog machine started again, thick white mist pouring into the living room. But this time it smelled wrong, like burning hair. People coughed, some laughing it off. I remember shouting, "Derek, dude, I think something's burning." No answer. The fog spread faster, filling the hallways. The air turned colder. Not from open windows, but in a way that felt unnatural. I pushed through the crowd and found the living room nearly empty. Everyone had gone outside, assuming the machine was broken. But one thing caught my eye. Through the fog, near the staircase, I saw a figure, someone standing perfectly still, facing the wall. I thought it was part of the decorations, maybe a mannequin in a costume. But then its head tilted, slow and jerky, like a glitching video. "Hey!" I called out. "You okay?" It didn't move. When I stepped closer, I noticed the sound, a faint whisper. At first, I thought it was music from outside bleeding in through the walls, but then I realized it was coming from it. Words I couldn't understand. I reached out, maybe 2 feet away when it turned. Its face was covered in a cracked porcelain mask. No eyes, just black holes where they should have been. I froze. Then it let out this low, rattling breath that felt wrong. Too deep, too human, but not quite alive. I stumbled back, tripped on the step, and when I looked again, it was gone. Just fog and silence. I told myself I was drunk, hallucinating maybe. I ran outside trying to laugh it off with the others, but no one had seen anything weird. Derek was nowhere to be found. His phone went straight to voicemail. About 20 minutes later, someone screamed from inside. We rushed back in. The fog had cleared, but the lights flickered again. Near the kitchen, the floor was slick, dark, wet. Someone shined their phone light and we saw it. Red. Thick red streaks leading toward the basement door. A girl dressed as an angel whispered, "It's fake blood, right? Please tell me it's fake." No one wanted to find out. But one guy, drunk and brave, opened the basement door. The smell hit instantly. Metallic, rotten. He gagged. "Dude, I think something died down there." Everyone started panicking. Phones came out, but there was no service. Literally none. As if someone had cut the signal. People began leaving in groups. I was about to join them when I heard a noise behind me. Slow, deliberate footsteps coming from the basement stairs. They stopped halfway up. Then, that same whisper again. The one from the fog. I don't know why, but I called out, "Derek, that you?" A pause, then a single word echoed back. "Leave." It was deep, drawn out, distorted, like three voices overlapping. We ran, everyone, straight out the front door, across the field to the cars. But when I got to mine, my keys were gone. I checked my pockets, my coat, nothing. I figured I must have dropped them inside, but there was no way I was going back in. I hitched a ride with two people heading back toward town. Nobody spoke the entire drive. The air felt heavy, like we'd all seen something we didn't want to admit. The next morning, I returned for my car. Police were already there, yellow tape around the farmhouse. I told one officer I'd left my vehicle overnight. He nodded, distracted, then asked, "You were here last night?" "Yeah," I said. "Why? What happened?" He sighed. "The homeowner, Derek Moore, he's dead. Found in the basement early this morning." My stomach dropped. "How? When?" "We're still figuring that out," the officer said. "Neighbors reported screaming around midnight. We think he died hours before that." Hours before, meaning before the party, before I saw him. I didn't tell them about the fog or the thing with the mask. They wouldn't believe me. I got my car, drove home, and tried not to think about it. But later that night, I noticed something. When I pulled my coat from the back seat, my keys were in the pocket. The same pocket I'd checked a dozen times the night before. And the fabric smelled faintly like burning hair. Derek's funeral was small. His family looked broken, confused. The police report said accidental fall, but that made no sense. He was found at the bottom of his basement stairs, but his injuries didn't match a fall. Both wrists shattered, jaw dislocated, eyes missing. I tried not to think about it, but every night I'd hear whispering, faint, low, coming from the hallway outside my bedroom. The first few nights I told myself it was in my head, stress, lack of sleep. Then one evening, I got a text from an unknown number. No name, no profile photo. Just a message that read, "You left before midnight." I texted back, "Who is this?" Grainy, dark, taken from outside my house. My living room window was in the frame. And through the glass, standing behind me in the photo, was that same figure, cracked porcelain mask, black eye holes. I spun around instantly, but there was nothing there. That S, when I realized something I can explain. Every single Jacko. Lantern from Derek S. party. The ones that had that same eerie grin. One had appeared on my porch. I hadn't bought it. I hadn't carved it. Lit. I smashed it, threw it into the trash, locked every door, and stayed up until sunrise. But the next night, Halloween again, exactly 1 year later, I woke up to the sound of footsteps on my porch. Slow, measured, crunching leaves. Both glowing, both carved with that same crooked smile. And behind them, just at the edge of the shadows, stood someone still, watching. The figure tilted its head, the same glitchy movement as before, then whispered something I'll never forget. "The party's not over." The lights in my house went out, the air filled with that same burnt smell, and from the darkness, I heard dozens of faint whispers overlapping, all saying my name. When the lights came back on, the pumpkins were gone. But in their place, carved into my front door with something sharp, were 3 words. To this day, I don't know what really happened that night. Whether it was Derek's ghost, something that killed him, or something he brought back. But every October, I still get that same text from the same number. "You left before midnight." And no matter how many times I change my phone, it always finds me again.